There she is, Jessica Miller, co-author of the book, A Woman's Guide to Successful Negotiating and a director at Cushman & Wakefield. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Great to be here.
I got to tell you, I'm reading this book the other night, and it's all about a woman's guide to negotiating. And one of the first things I hear you say here is that men and women negotiate in very different ways.
We do.
We do?
We do.
Tell me about this.
And it's a good thing we do. We're biologically different. We're raised differently. And what works for a man isn't necessarily going to work for a woman. Men tend to be very comfortable negotiating aggressively, and women tend to need to be a little quieter, a little softer when they're trying to make that same strong point.
It's interesting because you also wrote this book with Lee Miller. Who's that?
My father.
Okay. Was that fun?
It was fun. It was a lot of negotiating back and forth.
Is that true?
It was.
Because I noticed his name's first.
His name is first. I don't know how that happened.
I don't either. So you wrote it together, but it is for women in negotiating.
It is.
What's the biggest problem or challenge most women have when it comes to negotiating?
I think it's really that, well, one, they don't like to ask for things. Men have no problem asking. Women were trained to hint and be a little more subtle when going after what they want, and they really need to put themselves out there more and be a little more direct in what they're going for. Women aren't comfortable negotiating for themselves. Even the most amazing women who we interviewed, a lot of them.
You did. You had Kathy Black, who at the time was not the head of the New York Public Schools, but just
no, she was just the CEO
yeah,
of
just
Hearst
the CEO of
magazine.
a little small
right,
publishing operation. But also some other folks here. Alexis Glick, my good friend who used to be with the Fox Business Network, and so many others. But you also interviewed men as well.
We did. About
women?
And their negotiations and how they've dealt with women and what works, what doesn't. And we needed to get the full perspective. And, you know, my dad taught me to negotiate when I was a child.
Whoa, time out. What does that mean?
Everything from I had to negotiate for my everything, what I was wearing.
It was like you tried to think of one thing. It was what if you had to negotiate what you wore?
What I wore out of the house, absolutely. And he would take any opportunity to teach me how to negotiate without me even knowing. I don't even think I realized it probably till mid-high school or so. That's what he was doing, but it helped. It really helped when I came into the business world.
Today, you are a stronger negotiator because of that.
Absolutely.
And you feel confident and comfortable negotiating.
It's what I do every day in business.
And by the way, talk about your business real quick.
I'm a commercial real estate advisor with Cushman & Wakefield in the Washington, D.C. area, and you know, it's what I do.
You love making deals?
I love making deals.
Look at you, got a big smile. I love making deals for sponsors of the show and other collaborations. It is an art form, is it not?
It is.
Explain it to folks.
Well, you have to really take your preparation, figure out what there is, what you want out of the deal, what the benefits are.
When you're ready to walk away.
You need to be able to walk away.
Explain that to folks, because I don't want to say this, but there's a company that actually, I don't want to get into the details, they actually offered something, well, you can come and speak and this would be the amount, and it was some ridiculous amount. And a lot of times I do charity work, and trust me, this company had enough. They didn't need to they didn't need charity from me. Right. And the point was, I tried to tell some people around me, if we don't let them know that we'll walk away, we're in a bad position here. Agreed? Absolutely. I mean, you never want to fall in love with any deal, there's always another one. Too personal sometimes? Do we take it too personally? Women tend to. Is that right? Once they realize it's not personal and it's about the deal and you can't get emotionally involved, then they are such fantastic negotiators. Once they get past that minor detail. Once they get past that. It's one of the few mistakes women make, and there are a couple, but once you get past those, women can be such amazing negotiators and much better than a lot of their male counterparts. Really? They just have to be confident. They have to do their research. And most women at any senior level position know they have to be better than the men around them. Is it tougher for men when women become better negotiators? I don't think it's tougher. I think it's beneficial to men. I think it's beneficial to both sides. If you know what you want and you can figure out what the other side wants, you can come to an agreement that's best on both sides. When women hear what you're saying and you help empower them, give them confidence, what do you see in them? A whole new life, a whole new light, strength that they didn't have before, and they really are ready to go out and conquer the world, if that's what they want. Well, no, say if you're in business, you better understand. By the way, everything is a negotiation. Everything in life, personally, relationships, business, work, on behalf of your clients, on behalf of everything. Everything's negotiable. Everything's negotiable. Everything. it's so interesting because people sometimes say, that's my position, that's it, and I'm not moving from that. And they often lose situations. Listen, we said you have to be able to walk away, but sometimes people are too rigid in negotiations, right? Talk about that.
Some people are. I think women are very good at not being too rigid and leaving the door open to come back, or if there's another opportunity, and to change the dynamic of the negotiation. If someone's that rigid in a negotiation and they're, this is the fact, this is how it's going to be, there's no changing their mind if you take that same target and that same angle.
Jacqueline
you need
Velez,
to be
I'm sorry, go ahead.
creative.
Jacqueline Velez, one of our other producers, just asked, Jacqueline, what'd you ask? Jacqueline wants to know if it works in personal relationships.
Always.
I have no idea why she wants to ask that.
It's different in personal relationships.
It is? How?
Because the relationship's more important than any one single negotiation you're doing in it. So you have to obviously negotiate with the right person in a relationship. Choose wisely, if you will. And you need to set the standards, and you probably need to give a little more on things you don't care about and let them know what's so important to you.
And by the way, we don't always have to win the battle because there's a much bigger war now.
Absolutely.
That was brilliant.
Absolutely.
I feel like Plato right now. It was amazing. Jessica Miller, she's the co-author of the book with her dad, Lee Miller, of The Woman's Guide to Successful Negotiating. How to convince, collaborate, and create your way to agreement. Thank you, Jessica. By the way, I just want to clarify that Jacqueline has a wonderful relationship at home, and so do all of our producers who are going to use none of these skills in negotiating with me their annual contracts. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you so much,
You just screwed up
Steve.
the entire operation. We'll be back right after this.